series, I'm quite happy with that. If MVP SKT ends up going for
different
several
conversation.
hours, then buckle down, guys. Get ready for the insanity to set in. But here we go. Pick and ban on the screen. KT again over onto that blue side to start things off. And the first thing they take away is going to be Zoe.
I had it underlined on my score sheet here just because of Grace's manner of playing Zoe. This was not just getting lucky with the fishing, although he is the same player who got the exact one shot on the Zoe with no trouble bubble. That was pure one shot with Paddle Star, so that makes you have a bit of pause. See more bans come through. Someone's best performing champion on the top side has been Gnar, another 3-0 undefeated Gnar. So I wonder if KT put too much thought into answering that. They do have Smeb, who is known for his flexibility. And Jin, they don't want to deal with any knockout parties. They'll not ban away the Galio, which I think will have to become a staple red side ban.
It's going to be the Rise to follow up on the back of that as well. Just taking that comfort away from Pawn. Vladimir will be taken off the board, so I'm personally a bit happy about that.
Usually means first pick GP is getting more and more likely, even though Keen showed a great performance against the Vladimir by going for a more tanky build. Spectre's Cowl before he finished his Trinity Force, and Spirit Visage second for maybe not the highest damage build, but a sustaining build with the Resolve Tree Grasp of the Undying. Azir ban against KT as well, so Malzahar of the big mid laners, the only one available, but with the Vladimir coverage ban, your first thought would be GP. They flash it and say, well, we'll reconsider our options, and Def's going to jump on the Kalista as the first pick.
Yep, Ezreal's still going to be available here for Jin Air if they want to pick that up, but for now showing an aggressive jungler with that Kha'Zix, potentially for UMT.
It's just a bit of an evolution here for Def, because previously very high priority on Ezreal. No games of Kalista this year. It was a very big pick for them in 2017, so bit of a new lease on life when it comes to pick ban for KT. No surprise that Jin Air on first invitation will take the Kha'Zix. UMT's playstyle is to get very aggressive around the enemy jungle. Looks for a lot of battle warding with his playstyle. And then showing the Ornn here. Ornn with Braum available is always a little bit risky. The KT could just prioritize the Braum. Argument there would be that maybe you lose a bit of lane presence. Braum is good in lane, but you can go very aggressive with the Kalista and have the Fates call for both initiation and also disengage. So we'll see if KT just go for the compositional answer to the Ornn.
Well, for now, might be looking at the Jax that has been quite kind to score so far. They will just go ahead and lock that in for the jungle you would expect. Could be flex to top lane if the situation was right, but just given the amount of success that we've seen from Score with that, it's likely to be in the jungle.
Yeah, very flexible champion in general. Against Kha'Zix, still has the ability to leap away. He has a ward up especially, or a camp, and also disengage with the E, with the counter-strike. So Jax's flexibility makes him high priority, and Malzahar, with what was banned away, really jumped out as being the tier 1 mid laner. It's still available on patch 8.1. We don't move to patch 8.2 till next week, guys, so I mean more 8.1 action. It's an answer to the Malzahar. They don't want to deal with double ban of mid lane. May just be going for dodging the lane, just going for pushing the minions, getting out of there, making the roaming plays, helping out UMT in the enemy jungle. It will be Talia from Grace.
All right, so see that one locked in. Hasn't been, one of the biggest picks for us here, where Talia, for a portion of last year, completely dominated the mid lane, has shifted away from that, but might be drifting back in.
Yeah, it's been rising. Froggen in solo queue just hit rank 9, I was noticing on his streams before we went live. Really been playing a lot of Talia, espousing how strong it is. A lot of mid laners in Korea also jumping back on it recently. An option against Galio, an option against a lot of laners just because of the safety and also the roaming. The Gangplank, after being a potential first pick for sure, is going to be actually looked over and then banned away by Jin Air on the red side. So no one Smeb to be opting into the Pirate.
Followed up Ezreal there from KT. Trying to limit the options here for Teddy. See where he wants to go. He's shown us the Sivir in the past, going up against this Kalista.
If you show up and we get our first Sivir since the last time you were here, Achilles, I'm going to shake my head, as that is the prime champion to extend games. But yeah, double ban 80 carry could be possible. Caitlyn, I imagine, would be one of the big selections here, and they will eventually give a coverage ban for the Ornn. Braum taken away. Marta's pick is going to be very interesting. His Thresh would certainly be very powerful with the Kalista as a combination pick. Tom Kench is always going to be a thought at least. Definitely pay lip service to that when it comes to Tyrus. And Taric also, if they want to go for team fight. So going to wait for a bit more information here, as Teddy could jump on these 3 champions. See him mulling over a lot of the meta picks.
Flashing all of them here. Kog'Maw, also something that made it through, but seems like he might just want to play this safe, go for the additional poke alongside the Taliyah, pick up the Varus.
Lane presence is what you want against a Kalista. You don't want to fall behind and then the threat of the all-in every time the Fate's Call is available. So, going to go for one of the strongest laners available in the Varus, and the on-hit build, no doubt, will come through. Looking for KT to cement their draft. So far, it's very much initiation focused. They have a lot of pick power here, but haven't necessarily tipped their hand one way or the other. Looking like a skirmish comp from Jin Air, so maybe more engaged for KT. Cement what they already have would be smart. And Kalistar, it's going to be Kalista and Alistar coming through. Another favorite for Mata. It'll have to be blind pick when it comes to the support role, because very real chance that Wraith could just be jumping on the support Ornn. So we're waiting here just for top lane.
Not quite a bouncy castle, but I mean the CC chaining potential here for KT is through the roof.
And Smeb has been loving the Maokai as well. Famous Twitter clip they put up of his just elation after winning the telecom war on that Maokai pick. And it means that they have just the most insane Wombo CC going on. It's not quite Galio, but something has to hit, Achilles.
I mean, Maokai ultimate into Fate's Call, Alistar into Pulverize, into Nether Grasp, into Counter Strike, means that nobody does anything. But here we go, throwback to the classic counter. Trundle up into the top lane here for Soan into the Maokai. Just try to nullify any of that tankiness in the team fights.
It'll definitely be a top lane Trundle, because Trundle versus Maokai is one of these classic matchups. Because we've gone back to 2016 or 2017. Ravenous Hydra into trying to ignore the base damages on the Maokai and split push down inhibitors wherever possible. So KT will have to make their teleports count. They have so much initiation, including a suppression, that your first instinct is they're probably going to be able to make the initiations count. They have just so much damn initiation going on there, but there's no guarantees. And Jin Air are playing a very different game to KT. I imagine Ornn ult's largely going to be used for disengage while they try to play 4-1, while they try to poke around with the Taliyah. Jin Air definitely using sleight of hand with things like globals and an immense split pusher to distract KT from their ultimate goal. But if KT starts cementing objectives, going for the macro play, putting down the control ward line and advancing it, Jin Air will have very little options. Trundle, if the team is actually doing well across the map, can win you a game, but from behind, you can't split push in a vacuum, in a dark map with no vision.
Well, we were talking about it before the games got started, Papa Smithy. Soan, potentially one of the most improved players that we've had so far this season in the LCK, now going up against Smeb. You're touting him as the best top laner in the world.
Definitely one of them.
This is going to be a very big test for Soan to see just how far he has come from his previous self. Let's go ahead, load up for game number 1, KT versus Jin Air. Let's start it. We don't want to drive you guys away, OGN Legion. We want you here to buckle down and enjoy some good old League of Legends action with us, myself, Papa Smithy, ready to dive in. It's been a while. Had to rotate off. Supposed to cast yesterday, but I had a furniture delivery, so I had to be home for that. So Atlas was kind enough to go ahead and take over Wednesday for me.
Interesting priorities there, Achilles.
Hey,
thinking about number 1 and number 1's abode, huh? That's
I needed
a big Smeb fan there. As we actually hear the
cats,
meows.
the Meowkai just popping off. I needed a new bed, Papa, all right? It was a pretty important thing. My quality of sleep was...
He actually sounds like a creaking bed right now.
Yeah, this is why I replaced my bed, is because I was hearing nothing but that all night. Every time I rolled over, the boards were just creaking.
No fun at all. No fun in the history for Jin Air GreenWings against KT Rolster. But everyone's dancing this game, so people seem in good spirits. 5 p.m. We're in standard time here. Sangam E Stadium. The OGN match day, and hopefully a hype one. We had some PogChamp moments yesterday, the Khan-Champ in full effect.
It's plenty
robbed of the double pentakill.
But still so damn good. At least he got the one. But the double certainly would have been extra impressive.
some really hype matchups here that we didn't necessarily know about preseason. Grace coming off a good run of form. It'll be fun to see him come through, and his laning stats are very good. Pawn's laning stats higher than you might expect because he has been crushed in lane by Faker and has in general been the team fighting phase for Pawn that has been more impressive than his laning.
Yeah, both Teddy and Grace have had pretty fantastic showings so far, and you think that after the recent performances, as long as things go well in this series and he's at least competitive, Grace very well may have earned himself that starting spot over Justice, as so on you can see. Just asserting his dominance in this lane. Trundle versus Maokai will always have the upper hand.
You would think it's a lot about how scrims are going, just because, I mean, Justice was the mid laner when they beat SKT and then was out of the team promptly afterwards. So imagine scrim results are the big influence in there. But when it comes to this week, you know, they played 2 games, they won both of them. Only going to be so many scrims when you play close to back-to-back match days. So just go with what's working for the side of Jin Air.
Double roam up towards the top side. Seems like Jin Air want to find some action against Smeb, who's been denied a ton of CS so far. 18-3 as the wave crashes
They're ratcheting
in.
it up.
He's going to go ahead and start pushing back. Might have to pop the flash. He's going to try to get back in underneath the turret. Flashes in. MT goes forward. So much damage, and he will just be taken down. Wonderfully played by Jin Air, and that's first blood going over to Soan.
That's a really nice rotation from Jin Air as well, the sort of thing that requires pre-planning. It's on point, the jungle clear and the mid laner. Talia's always going to have the wave pushing ability. Also has gone for the unsealed spellbook here, so no poke, all about the flexibility. Got that extra roam in, teleports the lane, only loses a minion wave. They get a big advantage onto their top side as well. Nice stuff from Jin Air.
Yeah, really going to accelerate that Trundle, and Smeb, I mean, he was already struggling getting any CS in. Now with this double longsword purchase here for Soan, it's going to be way more difficult for Smeb. He's going to need some support from Score up into that top side, and the sooner the better. And try to accelerate that tanky build. For now, Score will be paying a visit down towards the bottom side of the map. Waiting in the brush has not been spotted yet.
Bit of patience, but Mata flash any moment. Here we go.
Yeah, Flash Pulverize comes through into the counter-strike, and Teddy just disappears. Mata finds the kill, and now it's all on Wraith to try to get out of here. Gets the pop-up, flashes away. Seems like he will be able to exit with his life, but beautifully done. Really good patience from KT, and they nearly get Wraith at the end.
And that's the reason why Mata is still so respected, because in an instant, there's never any second guessing. He knows when to engage. The CC laying was beautiful. Nothing Teddy could do. Was able to use his heal. I'm surprised about that.
In the meantime,
giving them the direst treatment here.
Yeah, has that little kitten thrown down for a ward, but Smeb, yeah, nothing really he can do. No flash available. Going to try to hand this one over to Gracie. It would seem, but actually is going to be empty in the end, taking it away as Soan tanks up the turret. So second kill over to Jin Air as they give him the direst treatment, as you said, 0-2-0. Down 20 CS is Smeb already.
The Jin Air have been more decisive more often, and also in a matchup where if Trundle wins by enough, he can just decide the game if the rest of the map can go 50-50. So while they did lose Teddy, he had Unsealed Spellbook, just pops back up with the teleport. There's no Unsealed Spellbook for Maokai, who's slowly going to be walking to the top side. So because they have more flexibility, this is triple Unsealed Spellbook on the side of Jin Air, they're going to get access to more minions. They're going to have more gold. They're going to pick up a pretty big gold lead, all things considered. Tiamat already done for Soan. So where they're strong is the way they win the game. And what KT have picked up doesn't necessarily change the flow of the game.
I mean, right now, Soan, if this continues, he was just going to be able to sit in any sideline he wants, and they're going to have to send 3-4 members in order to kill him. There's no way that Smeb, unless he gets a massive boost in gold, will be able to go even remotely toe-to-toe with him.
But the thing is, because they have so much engage elsewhere, and they have something going on in the bot lane, picking up kill onto Alistar, it's still Maokai. It's still, well, I got a Righteous Glory, pressed ultimate, and pressed W. So, because it's so low econ, you're right in that the pendulum's going to swing more wildly than some of these matchups, where it takes, what, like 2 items on the Trundle and a lot of levels to actually split push in the face of the Maokai. Maybe that happens earlier, but if KT is on point with their warding and start initiations, they can still make this game work. But it's always fun when the split pusher starts to get ahead, because then there's headaches on both sides. As well, this is a pretty big headache.
Smeb's got a massive headache at the moment. No flash available. Soan tries to push in. He does have it. He's going to go for it. Gets the jump, and that is just going to be the final blow. Soan comes up with the solo kill there. 2-0-1 on the Trundle, just moving Jin Air further and further ahead, as well as his CS lead. Score in the meantime visiting bot lane again, but he's going to be spotted out by a ward in the river.
This was invited by Smith. He did blind pick Maokai in a meta when no one else is playing Maokai. Score invades. Doesn't get the smite though.
Doesn't find it. Empty takes it away, but no handover for the blue buff onto Grace. And we're going to see a very fast first brick coming through as Sohan is just knocking down that turret. Smith has no way of getting back to lane quickly, so already first tower falling just 7 minutes in, and Jin Air are up to a nice 2,500 gold lead.
I feel a bit like a nature documentary person right now, because remember Smeb is the new shot caller. Remember he's the one who has to give the calls, and now he's massively behind, right? His lane's on fire for sure. Tree on fire, it's very lore appropriate, but the thing for this particular game is, can the shot calling be clear? They have so much initiation. If there's not hesitation, which Mata showed no hesitation on the Alistair, they still have a lot of playmaking opportunities. But shot calling from ahead and shot calling from behind are very different things for a proud top laner like Smeb. So let's see how it affects their mid game. KT still have ways to win this game, but the Trundle also is really popping.
I mean, you have to be wondering, how do I get myself back into an acceptable position, let alone my team as a whole? Let's see, we can see some aggression here onto Wraith in the bottom lane. I mean, he's just stacking up, and Deft is going to run him out. So he will go down. Didn't have the flash. It's the last gank, so could not get himself out to safety.
And good news stories to counteract the bad news stories in top side. The ganks are being paid off in both lanes, and the lane and bot lane does really facilitate team fighting. The lane and top side facilitates split pushing, which gets harder as you keep split pushing objectives, split pushing an inner turret 8 minutes in, only around the time the second blue buff spawned. It's insanely early as mid lane.
Counter strike, that's going to be the stun up there onto Grace. He's going to go golden, does have the flash available, but you can see they're already trying to cut him off a little bit. Gets a shove back onto one, Malefic Vision's coming through, jukes out onto the silence, he walks away with 1 HP! Are you kidding me? Grace does not go down. Pawn takes a couple of those turret shots, and he has to peel back. Umti now on the hunt, sees Mata, gets himself out of there, but good lord, one tick, one more auto from Grace, and he was dead.
Yeah, but that was such an insane escape there from Grace. There was so many different variables for him to respect the prediction on the W as he flashed away, stopped Jax from closing the distance, also walking forward for the Q, the Call of the Void. Insane juke from Grace. That justifies his starting position just in one play.
Beautifully done. I really hope we can get a replay onto that one, because there was so much going on there. It looked like he was dead to rights, but played it pixel perfect there from Grace. And as you say, the seismic shove prediction is what really sold it home.
Otherwise, Jax would have inevitably got some damage. And watch the replay. At the start, the CC does layer a bit, so they could have gotten potentially another auto attack. Ends up being a pull. Watch the flash W. Gets scores, so scores out of the fight. Jukes forward, and then one auto attack, not enough. Another Malefic Visions proc. Another auto. He would have died, but that is a great escape from Grace and stops there from being 2 winning lanes for KT Rolster to counteract the winning lane for Jin Air in the top lane.
Well, Jin Air still keeping that lead. Grace trying to just stay even here with Pawn, and so far is doing a good job of it. Now has the QSS in the inventory, so won't have to worry about those pesky nether grasps too much here anymore.
The game is in such a fine position because remember that with Trundle, it's very difficult to parlay your lead into helping other lanes. The teleport's not going to be respectable. It's not necessarily going to be anywhere near the standard tank top lane teleport, so that is not going to actually influence the bot lane. It's hard for them to salvage this lane. Jin Air barring a roam proactively by Grace, who is very much just going to play through his lane and start trying to push Vision into the red side jungle. So all Sohan can do is target objectives. The inner turret, that's difficult. The Rift Herald, that's a freebie.
Yeah, he's already gotten a little bit of damage onto it, I believe. He's had the wave pushed up there a couple of times. He's got one control ward in by the blue buff to try to keep himself safe from the Jax, but seems like we're just going to have a trade of global objectives at the moment unless MT can get in there, but yeah, not going to happen. They have the red smite. So Ocean Drake will go over to KT. A second Ocean Drake to follow up, but Jin Air going to try to accelerate the game as they pick up the Rift Herald. Maybe knock down that inner turret in the top lane, or knock down that outer turret in mid and allow for Grace to roam more.
So once back is cancelled, but it's going to back away. Already had picked up the Rift Herald, so the interrupt there. Thought it could mean more, it doesn't. This game is in a surprisingly balanced position. The gold doesn't necessarily illustrate, but just with how the game is shaping up, Kalista is very, very powerful on the bot side. Not with a CS advantage, not with the kill and assist he's already been able to pick up here. Did not go for free boots on the Kalista. That's how he got a very quick Berserker's Greaves. Trying to abuse the free boots from Teddy, which ended up being useful in the earlier engages. KT having reliable engage and also teleport on Smeb, who has been able to equalize a lot of the CS here, is very relevant. You see Mata putting down the lane ward, threatening a dive. The dive is very possible. KT, as a four-man group, may still be pretty significantly ahead of JAG GreenWings.
Well, they do spot out score there, so they know they don't want to go for any sort of fight. MT's still just hovering nearby in case there's any further aggression.
No sweeper to sweep out that ward means that bot lane is insanely scared of being turret dived. Understandably.
They have some concern. They have some stall. Teddy with a stopwatch. And the face of the mountain there for Wraith for the added bit of shielding.
If Smeb's in vision, then they'd have nothing to worry about, given that Trundle Pillar is a ranged interrupt, so no way for him to join.
Oh, popping in, yeah, looking for Pawn. He's going to go down to about half HP as they find that control ward. Maybe now going to be a bit of a scuffle over that blue buff. Now, so on, going to get jumped on. Beautiful Pillar stops the leap strike, but still gets stunned up by the counter strike. He's going to try to flash away. Pawn pushing forward, does have that Nether Grasp, but gets slowed up by MT, and it seems like they won't be able to get the lockdown, so on will be able to walk his way out.
Yeah, Pawn actually wasted his flash trying to close the distance, didn't get into ult range awkwardly. Means the time is wasted. So on gets away. Jenna will keep pushing in the bot side. Game so finely balanced. Score forced to smite the blue as well. So nothing for Pawn after we saw a blue buff smite by Umti earlier. This time around, Grace does have the blue. Ravenous Hydra and most of the Merctres. Rift Herald buff as well. Why you use the Rift Herald here is very interesting. Your first thought might be get that second turret, make it the longest lane ever. But then there's such a high chance of Maokai freezing and the Trundle never being able to return to that turret that actually I think taking the inner turret has very little value for Jinna this early into the game. He wants to crash mid would be the obvious one, but I think getting another outer turret holds more value right now for Jinna. I don't think that Baron is an objective that's going to be considered for a long time. It feels like a 25 to 30 minute Baron game, not a 20-minute Baron, and even then, that's 6 minutes away. Just given how the game is poised, the Rift Herald may just end up being top because he's got no time left on it. Did not path to the mid lane. They don't have deep vision, so it's probably unlikely to be a massive value Rift Herald as Trundle just returns to whacking away on the map.
Let's see if he's even going to be able to take the turret with the Rift Herald here. That's the way pushing up nice and smoothly there with the help of that Ravenous Hydra. He's starting to drift his way back into the river. He's going to have to pop this soon. So we'll see. He might be going for the mid lane push. He's got the Scuttle Crab for the speed buff, so it seems like they will go ahead and summon it down here. So, all right, good job, Sowon. You made the right choice.
Just enough time, so nice roam timing. Puts it down. Current HP, around just above 2/3, so it's about 70%. Score is here for a counter gank from down bot lane.
Call the Forge God coming through. Only gets a pop up there onto Mata. Fate's Call drags him back. So on with the pillar, however, is cutting him off. Depth jumps to the other side. Fate's Call comes through from Mata, popping up Grace immediately, then flashes it away. It seems like the dynamic duo are gonna make it out with their lives, but they're going to have to forfeit the turret.
Yeah, everyone teleports in. Maokai cancels because he wants the extra time to get some damn minions and try to hold the top lane, which was such a struggle. Does mean they just lose bot lane turret. Remains to be seen whether it was the right call. In mid lane, though, unable to push in the minion wave. When it comes to immediate gold for the skirmishing comp, Jin Air picking up gold is relevant. They want to get into a significant gold lead. They don't just allow KT to scale into 2 items and start flashing on everyone with all their engage. Cement their gold lead. Mid lane remains very even. Interesting developments as the game goes on.
Really, really well played by Deft and Mata there into the bottom side. Can't quite see how much damage or health is remaining onto that mid tier 2 turret, but it's going to be, or tier 1 turret, it's going to be very low after the Rift Herald got the charge off. So a couple more wave shoves perhaps, get some chunking down on the pawn should be enough to take that out. As Wraith's going to get found in the river, Score wrapping around the backside. And here comes the CC train. He's going to go ahead, flash away, try to get himself away from this Jax, but now with Jeff joining in the mix, they will have the run for the slow, they'll have the run for the execute, he'll get booted back over the wall, and Pawn will go ahead and kill steal the whole damn thing. Now Teddy in a bad spot, starts charging down the lane, but he knows that he's pretty much donezo here as he tries to get out, flashes away into the stopwatch there for the headbutt pulverized, but Nether Grasp is waiting for him as well as a counter strike. So you tried, Teddy. You probably should have just saved the flash. He goes down 4-3 as KT take the lead in kills.
There's no outplay there, but in the mid lane we get the answer. Turret is very, very low. Smeb going to try and delay it for one minion wave. May be able to do so, but could just die. The caster minions, nope. Gonna last one more minion wave. KT taking things, so just delaying another minion wave is worth it. It's worth investing the ultimate. That's an objective he can actually slow down. And on the map, Deft will get a turret at around the same time that Jin Air actually take that mid lane turret. It's KT's first of the game. Oh. Whereas the top side.
Yeah, see coming around the back side. Here's Teddy, gonna be joining in, tries to get the lockdown there onto Smeb, but he jumps to the other side. Will not get hit by that chain of corruption, but the turret still will be taken by Jin Air, so maintaining their gold lead. Couple shots here onto the mid one. One more Grace, but doesn't want to take the turret shots.
Too much armor when it's isolated clearly.
28 HP left onto that turret.
The reverse Kha'Zix effect for those turrets certainly working out well.
A couple more hits. You can see Mata sitting here ready to back up pawn. We'll just go ahead and be able to burn through the minion wave, so that turret is going to be standing for a bit longer, it seems.
It's always so tilting, because of course you've got that item that's 100 gold away, waiting for the damn 20 HP turret to go down. Not going to find it, does delay. The gratitude for Jin Air, and KT having double Ocean at this point in the game is pretty strong for them. Does mean that in them both so early, we're going to see a lot of Drake stacking. It's a triple Ocean, which maybe too far into Ocean, but the first two you feel good about.
I mean, it's always been the case, the more Oceans you get early into the game, the better it's going to be overall, but as it goes later, not that exciting, but there it is, 15. They knocked 11 off of it.
Oh, man. That turret is the MVP. The triple Ocean, when we get later into the game, is going to be very important for Baron turns, which KT are going to spend the entire game doing, given their comp is God around Baron, with a million types of turn CC and also the Callista Ren to skewer it.
If MT wants to go in for the steal, not only is the Ren there to deny it, but the amount of lockdown that they have for him is he's going to go ahead and start walking into the brush. Counter-strike coming out, but MT jumps to the side, keeps himself safe as they try to defend this turret. Wave's not the largest here for KT, but still have a pretty decent position. They get a little bit of damage in onto it.
Trying to answer on the top side because So1's inevitable rush towards the bot lane turret begins. Demolish proc makes this matchup even faster when it comes to the split pushing.
He is making me nervous every time he approaches that tri-brush. See though, finally, the minions got it. Pawn's like, damn, I was almost there. Just had to deny that 15 damage.
So one's only pushing with the knowledge of all the members in top side. Doesn't have any real vision control to speak of. Getting closer and closer to the point in the game where So1 will need his team to back him up. So and the others coming through with some vision coverage to allow for the safer split pushing. I imagine he's just going to kind of go in, get a couple of orders, a chomp, a demolish proc, and then kind of back away till demolish is back off cooldown. Probably the safest way to navigate what can otherwise be a pretty thorny job trying to push with no vision. And KT are waiting for that big initiation we know they have. You can tell from Pawn, switching over to Ghost, that they're ready for the picks. They want to start rolling them through. Soon to be 2 items on Deft. He hasn't gone for Spellbook, which was what we did see at the end of last week. Going to be the lethal tempo for the maximum amount of attack speed in team fights.
Was the thorny job thing an intended pun?
It was.
Okay. I see that he's got a bramble vest.
Yep. I know. Sometimes that can be clever, Chris, once in a while.
I expected so much more from you.
And then 5 days a week happened.
That's true. I suppose if that's what you come up with for your puns, and you're doing pretty good after 5 days a week. 6 days last week.
Yeah, last week was definitely the marathon. But we're back to the normal schedule, guys. So Friday and Monday will be the only non-LCK days, Korean Standard Time. Otherwise, LCK every day. This particular game is kind of tending towards the long kind of situation. The free objectives for the Trundle to push down have started to go and dry up. KT are getting the vision control around Baron. What did we say? Baron is their playground. I think the Baron threat with now the Hurricane finished on the Callista will only get higher, it'll only ratchet up with where the game is right now poised.
Takes some fancy footwork and great team play from Jin. Try to stop KT around that objective. For now, just trying to stop them from taking out this outer turret. Wave clear from Talia, still rather significant, so we'll be able to go ahead and work that down, but still steadily getting chipped away at. So on opens up onto the tier 2 here in bot, and seems like there's not a damn thing Smeb can do about it.
Nope.
Someone could just turn onto the Maokai if he so chooses. Deft is on the roam down. Hasn't been spotted out yet by So on, I do believe. He's trying to slow up Smeb, but Smeb's got plenty of CC himself.
Warren Varus counter roaming, so that will mean the Callista will eventually slow down. Would have been a very slow chase, so seemed like Deft didn't have any other clear calls for what to do on the map and just backed away in the end. So back to pushing. This game definitely slowed down in the last 5 minutes after top lane died 3 times, last time solo the Trundle matchup, and to his credit, Smeb has been able to arrest the CS lead for the Trundle. No signs of a Flame Horizon yet.
Yeah,
Sunfire Cape, no Righteous Glory, so
have some ways to go for that.
Doesn't have the initiation item, but just trying to get as tanky as possible to delay the amount of time that it takes Trundle to push up and take this inhibitor turret.
Even has the stopwatch in case he has another multi-man visitation into whichever lane he is currently occupying.
KT's plan has to be, how do we actually get the initiation we're craving?
Well, you probably just headbutt Pulverize MT right there, but didn't have it.
Problem there is you need the vision to kill this. You need to know what's coming behind the first target. They don't have that right now. No vision in the red side jungle means that Baron, impossible to start for KT. And on the blue side for Jin, no aggressive vision apart from, I believe, a zombie ward on the blue buff. So for now, at least, vision game doesn't allow anything other than a too risky engage, and they don't have a teleport flank ward for the Maokai either. So for now, at least, game's stalling out a bit.
Well, KT yet again hovering around this third Ocean Drake that has spawned. So on very close into the bottom side as well. So could see an all-out brawl begin. If somebody were to start this one up, Grace would be the latest one to the fight. Actually doesn't have the teleport at the moment with the Unsealed Spellbook. Currently sitting on the cleanse. Pawn has TP ready to go.
Boystar second
seems like KT are just going to back away.
Kind of curious item for Grace here, because no magic resist completed at all. Maokai's going to take a while to build up MR, and Jin turns on to the Drake, takes an Ocean. It's only Ocean Drake, so no need for KT Rolster to mount a serious defense, and they've just gone for their recalls.
Yep.
So Jin kind of wait out the stalemate and end up picking up a very small advantage and denying the triple Ocean away from KT Rolster.
Got him. Game's locked now. Jin can't possibly lose.
I got nothing to say to that, Achilles, because we're going to keep going. We're extending.
That was the KT win condition, was get triple Ocean. It's all out the window.
Well, with that abandoned, we'll see what they make where this game currently lies. Still no deep vision, so still kind of poking in, seeing a camp and moving away. Get some positioning information about the Kha'Zix, given that Krugs are still up, but Krug camp is at the least taken camp by junglers as the game goes on.
It's been a while since we've had a kill.
The action will, I think, snowball really fast. If we do see a Maokai teleport, it probably means a very bloody fight that will turn into a Baron and potentially the base being broken, but if Jin can keep slowing that down and then just try to use their globals and burst damage from the Kha'Zix to catch someone in transition, then that will allow Jin to really increase the pace of the game, but those are both ifs. Right now it is all about slow and steady for KT, who've been trying to take this out of top lane turret for a good 5 minutes.
Well, seems like they'll finally be able to do so. Finish that one off. They had multiple members rotating up towards the top side just in case. They had to go for a dive there onto Grace, but he'll be left alone. Just continue to clear out the waves, but the turret has been acquired, so 5-2 in that regard. Jin, 3-turret advantage. Not quite a 3,000 gold lead here for them.
Just walking up to dissuade the red buff take.
He's going to find Pawn. That's going to be Weaver's Wall coming through here from Grace. Jumps off to the other side, and they just try to secure the blue buff here at the end. And will be able to do so.
It's strange to see the stopwatch used after the QSS. I think he needed it. Wasn't a real threat of all in. They didn't have a lot of vision, so it was just pure precaution, using both and then leaping away afterwards. They get the blue buff steal, so I guess it all works out, but not the highest value of stopwatches. And then we return to a Trundle that, again, only has inhibitors to push, and pushing an inhibitor turret, very, very difficult to do. The terrain very heavily favors the defending team as you push that far in, and you can also recall and get to that turret much faster than any of the more advanced objectives. That's why, really, it's only map pressure and minions pushing up, a little bit of vision that Jin Air is getting with this Trundle. No other way to actually increase the pace of the game.
I mean, it's just 25 minions now, the difference between Smeb and so on, where before it was 65. So Smeb has been clawing his way back in here. It's got the Sunfire, the Warmog's completed, still sitting on the Bramble Vest at the moment, so that tankiness is coming through. And as this game goes on, Jin Air are going to have more and more struggles to try to push forward, because you don't really want to rotate so on into the mid lane to knock down that inner turret.
It's a lot of this is fine from the side of KT Rolster, waiting for the perfect teleport spot. Feels like Smeb can win this game with a sick teleport flank. When his TP is up, he's actually used it already, so gonna be waiting on that cooldown. That's the big option to them. With the Warmogs, even the mixed damage from Teddy is gonna take a long time to push through the armor stacking and the Warmogs, so tankiness is certainly there for Smeb, but getting him to a fight, that's the hard part.
Even score there, not taking much damage. He's quite all right, as it's just going to be back and forth going for vision control here around the Baron.
With these Kha'Zix comps, Jin Air need Wraith to be on the Baron for them to actually start it, because Kha'Zix can't tank it for any reasonable amount of time. So if Ornn is visible, then KT Rolster will not be believing in any sort of Baron take. It means they're not going to be forced to walk up, and a pick around a Baron or the Baron going down remains very unlikely. That information being so transparent means we see a lot of this. A lot of vision battles, a lot of clearing out control wards and backing away, looking at inventories for control wards. Seems like we're going to need some shopping trips soon, because only Wraith has any in his inventory.
Well, Mata was feeling feisty there. Off the Righteous Glory to try to get in range of MT, but not going to be able to find it. In the meantime, just a little bit of scuffling here coming through. Depth going to go gold in right as that Call of the Forge God comes through, so he's not going to get popped up now. Ultimate thrown down by the Maokai, so on. Up in the front line, just trying to get rid of Smeb. And now Mata's going to be turned up with the Fate's Call as there. Smeb all on his lonesome will get Pop Blast auto attack there over the wall from Denny. Comes through and they take him down, but that's going to be Grace going down in the fight as well. So far, a 2-for-1 in advantage of Jin Air as they keep pushing down the mid lane. Will they peel back and go for the Baron and try to get the turret? Seems like it's going to be the former.
Yeah, able to isolate out and kill Smeb, who doesn't get any value out of how insanely tanky he is. The other side, Score was able to buy a bit of time, but Jin Air going to turn straight onto the Baron. Like you mentioned, they're starting it up. Here comes the contest from KT.
Down to about half. Teddy here, full HP. Depth is going to be the first one that shows his face. Pillar comes through, and he has to flash to the other side. Try to make his way out alive. Jin Air have been pulled off the Baron. They will go ahead and abandon this for the moment, it would seem. So not going to be picking up any objectives. KT just basically trading Depth's flash in order to stop that from being taken.
One's going to get a bit of pushing done in the mid lane, but not enough to actually take the turret. Voidling's doing a lot of the work. Actually, the Voidlings just kill it. Oh, that was more Voidling damage than I expected for sure. Get an objective against the run of play. No mountains and infernals makes this all drag on. We're going to see the replay. Deft has some great hops here. He actually baits the start of this. He's the one who walks up, knows he'll be turned on, but he's trying to bait. The bait doesn't lead to a teamfight win because Smeb and Mata walk in. Smeb's actually squishy because he gets ulted by the Trundle. Yep. There's no threat onto Teddy or Grace, and that's the problem to me, is that I understand this play. If there's any threat onto the backline, there isn't. And so the health bars of Smeb and Mata kind of just given over for free.
Yeah, Subjugate just allows that Maokai to get ripped apart, even with all of the tankiness that he does have. Seems like KT will be the ones picking up an objective here, though, as they go ahead and turn over to the Mountain Drake. Deft is there for the Rend, so they'll just go ahead and take this one out. So still have 3 Drakes in their pocket as they get ready for that Elder. So still potential for quite a bit of burn damage coming through if they can pick that up for themselves later on. But for now, still going to be trailing behind about 3,000 gold.
Getting a pick for KT is the dream, because that would actually get the vision they want.
Asking you might receive. So on, going to get jumped on. His advance comes through. He gets healed right back up. Ultimate comes down, but he can't be locked in. He will go ahead, flash over the wall. Deft gets the rend off, but only knocks him down to about half HP, so he is still a massive Trundle, but he will be going back to base.
Some damage away will actually allow them to push in other parts of the map, because there's no guarantee. The Jin Air could mobilize 5 members in time to contest. Finally get to push out the mid lane. So we don't get the vision into the red side jungle they would want just yet, but that is the gold standard for them, the teleport ward for Smeb to actually allow them a clean turn off of Baron. A step forward, a micro step, but a step forward to what KT wants. Whereas Jin Air is just really piling on items. Very high ability power. Build here from Grace, who went for Death Cap early.
Yeah.
Not going to have a huge AP total because he did go for QSS, part of his gold. But the Death Cap obviously means a lot of nice future scaling. Jin Air push out the mid lane. Vision being so shallow on both sides is the big struggle for this game. Kicking into second gear and actually accelerating away. The team feels like they can actually force anything yet.
Pretty dark around the Baron pit right now here for KT, so going to have to work their way in. But for now, they have the inside track onto the tier 2 turret here in the mid lane. So threatening Jin Air, saying like, okay, if you want to play this top side of us around the pit, then we'll just go ahead and take your turret for free. So forces them back, and now KT can swoop in and clear out all of those wards.
If you're Jin Air, the question should be, how do you get back? Because we talked a lot about KT's Barons. What I want to see is them pushing up Vision to the blue side jungle, and then using the Weaver's Wall. I mean, we're getting to past level 16. The Weaver's Wall is so long. How many free objectives have we seen from Weaver's Walls in previous Talia metas? The Weaver's Wall hasn't really been used in this game at all by Grace. And that's what we're looking for, is might see a fight.
Smeb's getting chunked at low there. While the Forge God comes through, gets a pop-up onto Deft and Mana. Deft down to about half HP. Dead. He's going to get popped. The Guardian Angel comes through. Mana goes golden to try to stay alive in the fight. Fate's Call, do believe is still available. And Deft is actually going to go ahead, trades one back, finds the kill in onto Umpty, but Grace goes in and immediately kills off the Kalista. Teddy getting jumped on, headbutt back into the thick of the fight. Will get taken down by Score, who stays alive, leap striking over to Pawn to keep himself alive as he retreats back towards the base. Jin Air going to be coming out on top of this one so far with a 2 for 2 as they try to look for more, but they're turning it around. The Malefic Visions just go through, and Grace will get taken down, but not before he can claim the life of Mata. So all said and done, 3 and 3 on either side. A bit of a slobber knocker. No one really walking away with much of an advantage.
It ends up being even. KT Rolster desperately need Deft to do consistent damage in these fights. It's not going to be the Jax, even with the Trinity Force. It's not going to be Pawn, who really is about the burst on the Malzahar. So Deft being taken down, killed into the Guardian Angel form very early, means he's never going to have the flexibility to do consistent damage. You're going to see the replay here. Deft ends up getting knocked up by the call of the Forge God, and then burst. He dies incredibly fast. Falls into that GA, and then while he's able to do some damage on the back end, kind of go 1 for 1, taking out Umti, there's no consistent damage left for KT. Grace can just flash on happily to Deft and take him out. From there, nice headbutt by Mata, kind of spares the fight. If Varus was able to free hit at the end, it would have been a 1-team fight and a Baron for the side of Jin Air. Ends up being 3 for 3, all things considered. And that means nobody really gets a true advantage from that one, Achilles.
Nope. Yeah, Score alive but crippled, Umti dead, no one feeling safe to go for that Baron. So Jin Air instead just peel back to have vision control over the area at the moment. But now Mata, he's going to be looking for another play. This time on a Grace, headbutts him in. He's going to get locked down. He gets annihilated. Deft walks away with the kill. That is the pick that you were talking about, the sole pick without losing anybody on the side of KT.
Guess what it means.
And that is going to be them starting up the Baron, and really not much you can do if you're Jin Air. Try to poke over the wall, perhaps. Umti could try to go for the steal, but would likely be suicide, but might be losing his life anyway as around the backside, Smeb comes in, throws down the ultimate. Let's get the root there onto Wraith, but he's going to flash over the wall, and KT have been dragged off the Baron for this.
Yeah, they were fully invested on the turn. It seemed like Smeb could just goal keep and they could just burst it down. They have the Ren secure, but the clear call was turn. They wanted no chance of a steal. Now Mata, watching Umti.
Yeah, Umti finds him, gets a little bit of damage there onto the Alistar, but the Rend is coming through. That's going to be the Baron over to KT, so Jin Air bought themselves a little bit of extra time, but it wasn't long enough for Grace to spawn to join in for the fight, so they kind of just have to watch the Baron go.
No harm, no foul in the end. KT still do pick up the Baron. But that was all off Mata. He skipped so many steps. We saw 35 minutes of setup. We're waiting. When will they get the vision? How can they get the vision? And Mata just trains down Grace. He dies. And from there, they actually can just turn onto the Baron. So the Baron comp finally got their first invitation to show up to the pit. They take it gleefully. They take the Baron. And now Jinair's comp, what it's strong at, will struggle. You cannot split push against Baron with any reliability. The strong wave clear of the Taliyah gets answered. And KT Rolster probably feel like they're one pick away, especially if it's with 2 minutes left on the Baron buff. They get a pick now. They might just end the game in the face of Jinair.
Well, I mean, they're going to go ahead and move over towards this Elder Dragon, spawning in 5 seconds. Jinair likely going to be feeling the pressure to have to fight around this objective. If they don't come out on top of this, if both buffs go over to KT, that very well could be game.
Need to find a way to kill Def. Def goes down, and KT's comp falls apart.
He would have to jump in, but they're just going to peel back. They're going to try to wait out the pushes here from KT. It's about 2.5 minutes with both buffs available. Triple Dragon coming through here for KT Rolster.
And, you use the word wait. I don't think they'll get a choice to wait because Alistair, which already we know loves the turret dive, and Smeb has just the most health and armor to look for a turret dive. He doesn't take damage
Get the stone
from
plate.
structures. The only way KT mess up the turret dive is if Smeb de-aggroes with the W and Steph takes the aggro. So it's about as free a turret dive as can be. Goodbye with the demolish proc onto the first turret. KT don't need to play the map. They're going straight down one lane. They're going straight down
there
mid.
you go. You're talking about Def tanking up the turret. Takes a couple shots right there. Redemption comes through and does help top him back up. He's got the Blade of the Ruined King. He's got the Relic Shield. So
next minion wave is probably where we will see both Smeb and the Fate's Call used to try to zone away from the turret.
Oh,
awkward.
We're going to have a pause of all times here to come through. Seems like Deft had a connection issue.
Very awkward time. Deft, I would have thought would have started walking up, and then when he stopped moving, the bug splat perhaps came through. We'll get confirmation from Joel, who's back on Discord today. We lost him yesterday. So it sounds like a similar error to what we were seeing in other regions. It seems to be a visual bug involving Guardian Angel, I believe, going on. So I think it's related to that, but we'll get more information as things go through. It's no audio issue, guys. The audio, touch wood over here, seems to be resolved, but it's a game issue, and it sounds like the Guardian Angel issue. I've heard about it in other regions, so I think it's popping up.
Yeah, I think I saw this on Sneaky Stream, actually, where it didn't...
Bug catcher Sneaky?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's going to discover it, it's going to be him. And, yeah, the Guardian Angel didn't activate, so it seems like that could be what's happening here. So maybe we'll have to just go back in, try to reverse time, and get everything set up.
I don't know if we have the ability to chrono break.
I'm actually not sure either.
I'm going to guess no.
We'll see.
That's a Riot special ability. That's the Riot ultimate.
Yeah, I don't know who all has been granted the wonderful chrono break.
We shouldn't speculate. We really do not know anything about Chrono Break, but I don't remember it happening in the LCK. So take that for what you will. We're just waiting to see if perhaps we can roll back into the game and they can use this Baron and Elder stack to look for a turret dive. This game could definitely burst into action, so OGN, please get us back on the screen the moment the pause ends. Seeing Wraith there, wondering where this game went. So hard to close when you have a Trundle against an engage comp. We saw that seesaw of Trundle, free objective, free objective, free objective, until they just weren't free objectives anymore.
Yep, they ran out. They didn't have any more to give away, and he wasn't willing to push in to the base to try to get one. So KT, I mean, just basically playing the patient game. Normally, fighting from behind is not their strong suit. That's where they, always struggled. Actually, they were the ones that wanted to get ahead and really accelerate the pace of the game. But Jinair, they weren't able to do that.
Again, it's so tough. You look at the game and you try to, on the fly, discern where they were, too defensive, where they didn't push their luck, where they perhaps could have done more. And again, the one thing I volunteered was around the Baron, maybe trying to use the Weaver's Wall. They never made a Weaver's Wall play.
But,
getting information from Joel that, hopefully.
Things are resolved, and we should be getting back in the game, so we'll see if we're going to get that explosive action as you were talking about, Papa Smithy. We're still on the players, so here we go.
We're walking up. What does it mean?
Forward here, bottom, maybe look for the dive. There
means
we go.
A lot.
Goes in with a headbutt pulverize, finds Grace, who goes down pretty low. The face call comes out, call the Forge God, does get the pop-up in. Massive knockup from Wraith, but it's going to be Jinair, who's still losing members, so on, getting burned down. Will get the kill in on the depth, but he pays for that one with his life. 3 members dead on the side of Jin Air just for the Kalista. KT will go ahead, knock down this inhib turret, knock down the inhibitor in all likelihood, and there's nothing really that Wraith and Umti can do as they just stare on and watch the base crumble.
Well, with Deft going down, it means they don't have enough ranged auto attackers to end the game, so there will not be the game ending here, as you might have first thought. Mata walks straight up the top, taxing the Baron buff onto what is just the most insane motley crew of Voidlings and minions alike. The zoo is enacted in the top lane.
They're not done yet. Taking that second inhibitor at least.
10 seconds on Teddy. Means they'll back away.
From there, yep.
So relatively short death timers because all the action was front-loaded and took a long time for the melee champions. Take down the inhibitor. Still, 2 inhibitors down. A success for the Baron buff that KT couldn't find a way to get. So credit to Jin Air for how they played out the early game, how they took advantage early of Sowan's ability. The snowballing onto Smeb was definitely a thing of beauty, but the stall out from there needed more creativity that only Mata seemed to have. Mata was the one this game who just decided it with his engage onto Grace, and Grace going down to start the second fight wasn't ideal. So maybe some positioning, VOD review that needs to be done from Grace, playing around pressure. I remember Ruler coming into competitive play, and the big struggle for him at the start was, is that one minion wave too far? Can I go into the jungle and take a camp? In professional play, you always have to be so much more conservative than solo queue, so him going down twice is a pretty big cost to JAG GreenWings after a good early start.
Well, KT maybe looking to be preparing for the final push.
For that tutorial, for that third inhibitor.
Already have this turret significantly weakened, so we'll go ahead and be able to pop that down very easily. So third inhibitor going to be in their sights. The waves not in the base yet with the super creeps, so not the largest amount of pressure here for Jin Air yet. They can go ahead and focus their attention onto this bottom side of the map, but mid lane pretty soon is going to have to be dealt with.
Double buffs are down, so the Baron buff gone especially. It's going to take extra minion waves, and Tunnel Pillar can do some very annoying things when it comes to getting those final auto attacks onto an inhibitor turret. KT waiting for the next minion wave. They don't have minions crashing in mid or top, so it's going to need a turret dive, and Mata's definitely walking out for one.
Yep, everyone will just go ahead and peel back Grace.
Those 2 Demolish procs did literally 80% of the turret health. That's what happens when you have Warmogs and there's health scaling on Demolish.
Why? Well, the Weaver's Wall there from Grace not really going to do much except box KT into the base that they want to be in, so thanks, I guess, as they are just kind of welcomed through the door. Now in onto the final turrets. It's the 2 blocking them from the Nexus. The super creeps are coming in on all sides.
Oh, baby!
Coming down, that's going to be the jump in. Grace manages to flash away, keep himself safe, and actually they're trying to trade this one back in onto Smeb, who goes very low here with the Maokai. So far, still going to be alive. He'll get popped right at the end, it looks like there, yeah, as Umti finds the kill, but that is going to be traded for Teddy, as Deft is still alive, is still firing away, and is knocking down these final turrets. Nexus is going to be standing, 3 members left on the side of Jin Air, but there's nothing really that they can do by the look of it, and there you go. The final hits go through onto the Nexus, 14-11. At the end, the action certainly did vamp up as the game went on. Started off pretty strong, then a very long dry spell, but the last 10 minutes or so there, non-stop, going for the pushes, and KT come out on top.
It was definitely a thinking man's victory for KT Rolster. After top lane was so desperately behind, you thought, would they capitulate? Maybe KT Rolster of spring 2017 would have found it hard to get back into this game, but we said, what does shot calling from behind look like? It was reliable. They very much rebounded. They bought Smeb some time to be a teleport threat. They got to the late game stage, losing the minimum, which against a Fed Trundle represented turrets outside of their base. But no threat onto inhibitor turrets. 1 killer move by Mata, catching Grace, got them the Baron that previously for 35 minutes they were frustrated, they couldn't even start, and from there the end of the game was pretty clean. So KT Rolster will feel happy about the ending, will VOD review some of the turret dives, and then for JAG GreenWings, Yaharong, now Grace, 3 out of 4 abilities, super on point, but the Weaver's Wall never really got them any value this game, and for all their good play, ended up being a pretty comfortable win for KT Rolster.
Actually had more impactful roams at level 3 before the Weaver's Wall was even available, and then basically didn't utilize it. So, aside from the fancy footwork in the mid lane, keeping himself alive, a lot to be desired from Grace with this Talia. But we're not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. That's just game 1 out of the way. KT, they do start things off with a lead in this best of 3 series, but there's still a chance that Jin Air can fire back. We're going to find out if they can do just that when we come back from the break. We'll give you guys game number 2, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a few.